Hi there! Welcome back to another video on my channel. I have my phone set up in a very strange way because I don't have a stand. So hopefully it keeps in this position the entire time. Please wish me luck. I just want to say hi. And I know it's been a minute. I know I keep saying I'm going to post regularly. And every time I have that intention to do well, something happens. So for the past maybe week and a half or so, I've actually had a lung infection and I haven't been able to do much of anything, truthfully. So when I went to I've been having these horrible chest pains and basically I had a really hard time breathing. And the doctor told me basically, you got a lung infection and I wouldn't be able to actually lift anything for like 2 weeks. So I haven't been doing anything except reading. And this is probably good because it's always good to take breaks, I guess, especially if your body is not doing so hot. Um, but it's good too because, with the move and everything else going on this summer, I haven't really done a whole lot of reading at all, just transparency's sake. And then since I've been sick, I have finished like 2.5 books, and I just kind of wanted to share that with you today. And so this video is basically going to be like what I read this summer. Even though it's technically August and still technically summer, in my head, it's getting closer to spooky season, and I'm just kind of like over summer. Like, I'm even tricking myself into wearing a sweatshirt just to bring on the fall vibes. There's a couple of trees in our neighborhood that started turning, or they have a couple of yellow leaves. So, like, I'm like, oh yeah, let's get it going. But anyway, so I'm just going to show you the books I've read and what I'm currently reading. And yeah, if that's interesting to you, feel free to keep watching. Okay, so the first one is this book I finished, I think before the move. It's called The Left Hand of Darkness. I remember talking about this, I think in my last video. I just started it. It was like a third of the way through. This is my first heavy sci-fi. And it was okay. So I picked up this book because of the concept behind it. The author who wrote this probably in like the late 60s at the time was doing some experimenting on the idea of like gender and sexuality. So she created like a whole planet of pretty much androgynous beings, or beings that are gender fluid and who would only shift to like male or female if they were in heat, basically. um and the protagonist is not one of these people. They are an alien or a diplomat, sciencey type figure who is trying to make peace with this planet of people who who are like this, right? He's a little bit bigoted. He's supposed to represent us, the average person who would probably be, unaware at best of this kind of gender expression. And yeah, he basically is trying to set up a peace treaty with them. Shit goes sour real fast. I don't want to spoil the entire book for you, but that proves to be very difficult. And yeah, he kind of goes around the planet. There's a lot of world building. The world building in this is really cool. I will admire this. I always love a good book with good world building. Um, but I felt like it dragged on at times. Um, there's exciting stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. There's also like a random romance in here, and I'm disappointed with how that resolved itself. Again, I'm not going to try to spoil anything for you, but that's basically it. So if you're interested in hard sci-fi, I think this, or like gender studies, I think this would be a good book for you. I think I would have enjoyed it more had I like read this in a group, or read this for academic study, like had a study guide, took notes, annotated, all that. I was just using this as a pleasure read, and I think because I wasn't in the mindset of trying to break everything down beyond like, oh yeah, this is with that concept and blah blah blah. I think with active discussion, I would have enjoyed this book more, if that makes sense. This feels like more of a like challenge yourself academy read than just like a casual let me read this before bed type of story. So yeah, I think on Goodreads I might have given this like 3.5 stars. The star system for me, like, realistically, I know some people have a rigid like criteria for their stars. For me, it's literally whatever I was feeling that day. So you can take that as truth, or you can just like, I feel like these like descriptive reviews are a little bit more helpful for me, because the star system isn't really objective, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, this is this book. And I think I finished that in June. Yeah, right before the move. So there's that. Okay, I want to talk about this other book, and I'm going to put the cover up here because I actually read it as an ebook. But this is a book that is written by somebody who's my mutual on Instagram. They're also a fellow indie author. I try to read a couple more indie books this month. And it's called 28 Days Sassier. And this is silly. This is fun. Damien writes a lot of like comedy horror type stuff and has a very unique voice. So you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. But it's very fast paced. It's very silly. It's just meant to be a fun read in between. Like if you have a grog of serious stuff, this is something I would recommend for you. If you like Bigfoots and cryptids, you'll like this. I like Bigfoots and cryptids, and I think the whole notion of people who hunt these things is like fun. So yeah, this is like a post-apocalyptic world with like Bigfoot in it, and there's some other like side characters that are really funny. And I don't know, it has a lot of heart. So I really want to plug Damien's book because they're awesome, and I think you should check it out. It's a lot of fun. Oh, speaking of that, I just want to also point out that I am currently reading another book of Damien's right now. I will also put the cover up on the screen. It's another. They're more like not short stories. They're more like novellas. So they're very quick reads. So this book is called Coffin Dodger. And this is more of a story like. This feels like, I think that movie's called Galaxy Quest, with like Alan Rickman in it, and they're all like washed up actors who do conventions and then like get abducted by aliens or something. This is very that, except instead of being abducted by aliens, they get abducted by like a demon cult or something. I'm not finished with it. I think I'm like 70% done according to my Kindle. So I'll probably include this in this video, and then maybe like my next video I do about whatever I read in whatever month. I know I'm going to probably finish that up in August here, but I just wanted to include it in this video too. So if you're in, I think I really enjoyed the beginning. I like the character development in this book more than in 28 Days Sassier. I think the characters are more well fleshed out. But right now I'm getting to the part where all the crazy shit happens, so I'm a little overwhelmed, but I will read it and I'll tell you guys everything about it. Like I said, Damien's a great member of the horror writer community, and I just wanted to support them. So yeah. Speaking of horror, okay, so I read this book. I finished this book while I was sick. This is The Haunting of Alexandria by B. Castro. I like this. This is good. This is a more like not okay. This is horror. This is more of like women's fiction horror, if that makes sense. So this is the story of a woman who is undergoing women like just like being a mom, and being a mom sucks for this person, and their husband isn't the most supportive person ever, and she's dealing with a lot of self-harm thoughts and things like that. So trigger warning for this: if you do struggle with like self-harm and suicidal thoughts and stuff like that, this might be hard for you. But as somebody who unfortunately has experience with that, I didn't think it was triggering. I think it was done in a way that like conveys things that a lot of women and femme people go through, especially if they're wives and mothers. So take that with a grain of salt. But anyway, so this is about so you have this person going through this shit, right? But she's just one of many women. So this is about generational trauma within her lineage, but also interweaves the story of La Llorona. I'm sorry about my pronunciation about that, but La Llorona, which is like a Mexican ghost story that's like very common within that culture, and how she preys upon all the women in this particular bloodline. If you don't know the story yet of La Llorona, she is like the ghost of a woman who I guess. I mean, I guess it's different depending on like where you're from. But basically, it's a ghost of a woman who ended up like killing herself and her own children. And she haunts women who have, or she tries to prey on women in particular and their children. So that's what goes on here. It's interwoven with this idea of generational trauma, and she's kind of like this eldritch horror type monster preying on her as well. So the whole point is like to intermix like what is psychology and like what is like an actual ghost story. I think it's pretty well done. I can't remember what I rated this on Goodreads. I'm sorry. It's probably like a 4.5 for me. Like I really liked it. I really like the concept, and I like the storytelling itself. It's just some of the writing kind of like dragged for me at bits. It's not like I ever got bored. I like really enjoyed reading this, but it was a lot of like bulky dialogue and like telling rather than showing, which I don't really believe in authors' rules. I think you can write whatever you want. This is art, do whatever you want. But I just noticed it was a bit distracting, and like some of the conversations didn't feel like they like flowed together organically. So that was the thing. But again, it was like not really noticeable up until the end. So that's how I feel about this book. I really enjoyed this book. This was kind of like a spur of the moment pickup at the bookstore, and I'm glad I did pick it up. So if you're interested in stuff like that, you'll enjoy this. I want to talk about one other horror that I literally read in one sitting last night. Oh my god, it was so good. So this is again a novella. It's very short, but this is also done by an indie author who I found out about on Threads, and it is called Hey Girl, and I'll put a picture of the cover right here. It's called Hey Girl, and it's a pyramid scheme horror. That concept by itself, I was like, girl, I'm sold. I'm sold because it's cheeky. Anything that's like cheeky and funny, I will enjoy. So basically the idea is that like this woman signs up for a pyramid scheme that her sister is a part of to sell products. Most pyramid schemes targeted at women sell like some sort of cosmetic or health products with like some new age like mumbo jumbo attached to it, right? And it's funny because the author makes a connection between these sort of MLM schemes and like cults. And I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it's basically that like someone who joins an MLM and it actually stumbles into a cult. Um, so that concept by itself, I had to check out. And then the writing was really good. I noticed like a couple typos early on, and it was just like easy stuff that one could have overlooked like on the computer. So I'm not even gonna like knock somebody for that because the rest of the writing was so good. When I tell you I read the entire thing from start to finish, like in the same period, I enjoyed it. This was 5 stars for me. And it's not like horror as in like there's some dreams that get kind of like violent in them, but like the story itself didn't have violence in it, if that makes sense. I liked it. I'm not one for gratuitous violence if it doesn't serve a point in the story. And the dream, girl, I can't tell you more. I really enjoyed this book or this novella. If you think that's a fun concept, please check it out. Support indie authors. It was great. You know, it's rough out here to be an independent artist in any medium. So, yeah, help people out, please. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, the next book I have, I know I got so many books for you, girl. Like I said, I didn't read it all this summer, but then when I was sick and I couldn't even talk for a week, I just kept reading. I finished this book. This is Legends and Lattes. I've been hearing about this through the grapevine forever. I have been looking for like a cozy read to read for bed, so I'm not like scaring myself with scary stories before I fall asleep. And if you want something like that, this is it. This is a very cozy, high fantasy story. I think the tagline for this was high fantasy with low stakes. Very much this. If you're looking for like a fast action type plot, this is not it. This is the story of an orc, I believe, who is trying to open up her own cafe in a world where they don't even know what lattes are or what coffee is. So look at her. But she's putting away her sword and trying to become a entrepreneur businesswoman. And this succubus, which I thought was a tiefling, but this succubus lady helps her out. So yeah, it's very much cozy cafe vibes. There is some conflict in it and stuff to keep you interested because every story should have some form of conflict. But for the most part, this is meant to make you feel like, I don't know, comfortable. There's like a dire cat in it. There's like, my favorite character is Thimble, who is a rat person and who bakes things. I just thought it was really nice. It's really cozy. Again, I think I gave this one 4 stars. I really like it. Um, and yeah, if you're somebody who likes D&D but like doesn't actually want anything too crazy, I really recommend this book. Okay, so that's everything I've read so far. I told you I'm reading another one of Damien's books that I'm currently reading. Something else that I'm currently reading that's not up on my Goodreads is this book. It's the Zoologist's Guide to the Galaxy. What animals on Earth reveal about aliens in ourselves. I picked this up for like ideas because I write too, if that's not obvious. I am an independent author too. And just for like inspiration for some things I have on the back burner, I was like, okay, well, how do I write a realistic alien? What do they look like? Because I mean, we all have the sci-fi aliens from all these different movies, all these humanoid aliens that have been done already. I wanted like a realistic perspective on what an alien would be. So basically, this is written by an evolutionary biologist. I've only gotten the first couple chapters in because, again, this is more of like a work read and not a fun read. And I tend to procrastinate on things that revolve around work. um, so yes, so I'm gonna read through this and learn about animals or what kind of animals can be in space, or it's basically like what would evolve depending on the niche for the area, which makes sense. So I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna tell you guys if it's worth it or not. I like the cover though because I like rainbows. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I can show you. I mean, there's a couple of books I mentioned before. Like there's that psychology one that I'm still trying to get through, even though my therapist told me to read it a long time ago. Um, and I started, oh, what was it called? Oh, Magic Seeped in Poison. It's a young adult read. Somebody recommended it to me at the old bookstore I used to go to in Boston. And I read the first page and then I kind of tapped out. I feel bad. I'm going to eventually read it because I wanted something to read in between horror stuff. And that's what the lady recommended to me. Um, so I'm gonna try to give that a shot too. Something else I'm thinking about. I kind of want to join a book club. There is a bookstore a couple stops away from us here in Chicago that is a smaller bookstore, and they have different book clubs depending on theme. And they have one that I thought was really interesting that is about race relations in the US, but they only meet via Zoom. And I'm really trying to make new friends here in Chicago because it's hard when you move someplace. And like, there's a couple people here I know, but I kind of want to like feel more integrated in my community than I was in Boston, if that makes sense. So I want to join one of their book clubs, and one of them, I think the classics ones, is reading a Toni Morrison book here soon. So I might pick that up and read it and like just kind of like show up. But I haven't ever been in a book club before, so I don't really know what the dynamics or the procedure of a book club is. So if you guys have or if you guys are in book clubs and you like them, can you please just comment down below and like tell me what I should look out for, or like, I don't know. I'm like not introverted, but I am, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm still on the fence. I haven't bought the book yet, but I figured now that I've plowed through my TBR pile like within a week, that maybe like I have time to read that and join discussion. So I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of everything from me. Okay, so these are the books I read in addition to the ebooks I was telling y'all about earlier. If you like this, please like the video, comment down below, and share with a friend. It would really help the channel out. And if you want to hear more about my writing or my interests and hobbies and stuff, or my day-to-day life moving and shaking, yeah, you can subscribe to the channel too. I post occasionally. I try, and when I was on it, I would post a video a week, and when I'm not on it, I post what I can. So yeah, that's basically what I have to offer you. So if that sounds cool to you, feel free to subscribe. And until next time, thanks. Bye.